So now we will be discussing the most important part of our today's lecture. That is the functions of these hormones that are the estrogens and the progestins. So the first group that we will be talking about are the estrogens. The primary function of the group estrogens is to produce the effects on the specific cells in the body, which then produces effects in the form of enhancement of secondary sexual characteristics. Certain tissues, certain membranes, certain linings of the body in the reproductive system and external genitalia proliferates and turns a child into an adult female. During childhood, only minute quantity of estrogen are secreted in a female child, but as the child progresses to the teen age, the production of estrogen increases up to 20 folds, which results in the enhancement of ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, and vagina. Another most important function produced by this surge in estrogen is the deposition of fat on the external genitalia, which are the mons pubis, labia majora, and labia minora. So, the mons pubis is the pad of fatty tissue that covers the pubic bone. Labia majora is defined as the larger lip. The labia majora are a prominent pair of cutaneous skin folds that will form the lateral longitudinal borders of vulval cleft. And the last one, that is the labia minora, are the small cutaneous folds which are 3 to 4 centimeter in length and are underlying the labia majora. During the first few years after the puberty, the size of uterus grows up to 2 to 3 folds, and the most important function at this point performed by estrogen is the deposition of endometrial or proliferation of the stroma of the endometrium. And the second most important function is the proliferation or the growth of endometrial glands. Both of these then leads to and provides the nutrition to the implanted ovum. Now let's talk about the effect of estrogen on the fallopian tubes. First of all, the estrogen affects on the mucosal lining of the fallopian tube by increasing the proliferation of the lining. And second effect, that is on the cilia, it increases or promotes the number of cilia that are present in the fallopian tube's lining. Now, the activity of cilia is further enhanced by the estrogen or the effect of estrogen, and these cilia are responsible for propelling the fertilized ovum towards the uterus. Guys, let's talk about an interesting fact. The primordial breast of females and males are exactly alike. In fact, under the influence of appropriate hormones, the masculine breast during the first 2 decades of life can grow and develop sufficiently to produce milk. That's the same manner in which the female breast. So, the difference is only of the hormones that are regulating the males and females' reproductive system. In a female breast, estrogens produces following effects. The first one is the development of the stromal tissue. The second is the growth of an extensive ductile system. The third one is the deposition of fat on the breast. And the fourth one is the development of lobules and alveoli of the breast. The estrogens initiate the growth of breast and of the milk producing apparatus. Estrogen produces a very important effect on the skeleton of a female body. There are 2 types of activities that are found in bone. The first one is the osteoclastic activity and the second is known as osteoblastic activity. Estrogens inhibit the osteoclastic activity, which is basically the shutting down of the bone growth. So basically estrogens prevents the shutting down of the bone growth and and promote the osteoblastic activity, which is the growth of the bones in the body. So after the puberty, during the first few years of life, the bone growth or the skeletal growth of a female body increases exceptionally. And after that, the epiphysis or the epiphyseal plate of the bones fuses because of the more potent effect of estrogens in females as compared to the effect of testosterone in the males. That is why the height difference of the males and females exist. Let's talk about a little bit about the epiphysis. The epiphysis is the area of the long bone where bone growth takes place. The long bones grow from inside out. When the bones need to grow, they grow from the epiphyseal plate and push new bones outward. You must have heard about a condition in females known as female eunuch. A female eunuch is a female who devoids the normal production of estrogen. Now, because of that, the epiphyseal plates of the bones do not combine with the metaphysis and diaphysis at time, and hence these females are much more taller than the normal females with the normal levels of estrogens in their body. Now let's talk about the similarity of estrogens or the ovarian hormones with the adrenocortical hormones like cortisol or aldosterone. They basically mimics the action of the adrenocortical hormones and causes the water and sodium retention by the kidneys. In a normal non-pregnant females, this retention is negligible. But during the pregnancy, when the tremendous amounts of ovarian hormones are produced, they causes excessive sodium and water retention in the body. This was all from the functions of estrogens. Now let's talk about the other group of ovarian hormones that are the progesterones.